Hi everyone, LazyFire here. Welcome to Steamworld Dig. This is a game that was released initially on the Nintendo 3DS, and then it started to get ported over to various consoles, and then of course to the PC, which is what I'm playing it on here. And it's the second Steamworld game, but the first in the Steamworld Dig sub-franchise. It's this whole thing. Image and Form is the company that makes these games. I think they got bought out by EA a little while ago, but I'd have to actually go look, and research is hard. So we're actually going to go start off here and just delete my first ever save slot in this game. I beat it in a pretty good amount of time, the 2 times I've beaten it, as you can have seen there. So hopefully we'll be able to just kind of go right through this and jump right into the sequel, which I have not actually played before, and we're going to do that blind. But this is going to be a pretty knowledgeable playthrough, but this game does not require a ton of knowledge. Let's just get started. Okay, so we've got the basics here. You can walk around, you can jump, and in a moment we'll see it. I don't know if there's anything to show it off on yet. Yeah, you can hop off the walls. So yeah, this game is your basic Metroidvania, but with a lot of downward progression rather than through a castle. Let's go. So how the hell did you get in here not knowing how to get out? Whatever, Dot. Dorothy, Dot, whatever. Let's get going. Hey, check it out. It's a robot skeleton. Notice that Rusty has a pickaxe in all of his sequences here, but is now just claiming his uncle. Not at all weird. The game was very clearly made by some people on a budget. That's fine. It turns out that's fine. It's not a condemnation of the game itself. Now you could fall down here, you can climb up these ladders. Look at that. There's not a lot we can do outside of climbing, jumping, and now digging. And we'll talk about that in a moment. I do love the gears turning behind the eyes of everyone who isn't Rusty in this game, if you look very closely there. Alright, find lever. Yep, as you can see, digging takes a couple of hits. You can break through everything that isn't this stone here. This is impenetrable. And there's other impenetrable items later in the game, but right now, that's all we really care about. And because we can slide jump, I'm not really too worried about how I dig this out. These lights here, these lamps, are something that we can buy later and place. I don't really need them right now, so I don't give a fuck about them. And as you can see there, it might look like I screwed myself because of this gap, but that's not actually the case. Dorothy gets out while she can. And now we have our wall jump. Basically already invalidated by trying to show off the game. Yeah, you're gonna get fancy with them wall jumps later on, because you'll see how this game really plays out. I could go back up to the top, but if I do that, right down, and show you our first enemy, and kill him in his cradle. And Trashy him, our first element. Let's head up. And we're in Tumbleton. It is not a big place. So the saloon is where we will respawn when we die, and we will die. Oh yes. Old Iron Giant out there. Some Tritus. A couple of houses in the back that we never go see, and a shop. Cranky. Sorry if I'm going through that really quickly. I've done this a couple of times now. The plot in this game is thin. Thin is a good way to describe it. But at this point, it's non-existent. Go mine shit, you fucking worker. And we get dropped back down. Now, Rusty made mention of this before, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more extensively now. But light is definitely a thing you have to think about. Light is kind of important. It's in the bar over our map on the right side of the screen there. And light is really going to determine how much we can see around us. And that, at this point, not super important, because we don't really need to see too much. But to find the best ores, or all the ores as it were, because come on, why not? You need the light, you do. So we're going to be careful about that fact. Now let me show you some tricky techniques. You can mine across a gap. Not a lot of use there. You can mine up, down, left, right, but you cannot mine. You can mine up across the gap and all that. Right now, that dirt there is not breakable. Not a big deal. We'll fix that soon, like within this episode. All right. So the way you level up in this game is super capitalistic. You sell stuff to make money, to then here. Alright, we've leveled up. That means we can buy new stuff. Yeah, as we trade with Dot, more stuff gets opened up to us over here. And eventually with some other shops. We want this pickaxe. Now the copper pickaxe is going to allow us to break more stuff. Well, okay, so let me backtrack. We can break the dirt now that I was saying we couldn't break before. The copper pickaxe allows us to dig faster. And that's kind of the basic cadence of this game. We're going to get a level up of some nature, like this pickaxe, and then we're going to be able to upgrade it. A cave? Sounds interesting. Now, we've seen our enemies, and they're not that intimidating. Those bugs are just not really a threat. Now, if I can, I want to keep going in one big line instead of this worm pattern. But you can see how much faster I'm digging. It's just kind of sad. Yeah, we don't want to orphan any of the ores early in the game, because orphaning an ore now means that it's basically going to lose value very quickly. These early ores that are only worth like $1, they're going to be worth basically nothing by the time we get back to them if we orphan them now. We will not. And now I can break this dirt, as you can see. Breaking the loose soil, that's what I think that the game calls it, loose soil, in one hit. And that's really nice. You can see just how fast my inventory fills up. Luckily, the trek to the surface is fairly quick at this point. Once we get our first upgrade, which will probably be at the end of this episode actually, it's going to be even faster. I apologize if my loudness is kind of increasing, decreasing here. I am sitting in a chair with a controller, and that means that I don't really have the same restrictions I do with a keyboard. But more trash shield. Now I need 30 for that copper pickaxe. Alright, cool. If you can, you want to take these guys out before they get a chance to move. Because, yeah, damn it. We found our first rock. So the game is pretty interesting in that it's got a design to how this mine is laid out. And if you want to like get the best scenario in terms of your digs and everything like that, you need to really know where the ores are. And that's something we won't really know for quite a while. So at this point, we're really relying on the light to give us our best options. Come on, there we go. Now these guys will not fall off of an edge, so kind of have to just, there we go, rely on getting to them before then, or building out a ledge such that we can actually get around them. Now as you saw there, I actually had a bit of an issue. I kind of dug myself into a spot where I couldn't dig out. Couldn't get to this trash without getting around it. And that is a fairly frequent occurrence in this game. He's going to break out no matter what I do. Oh, I thought I was fucking slick right there, let me tell you. Now, if you're able to drop a stone, and I can't show it off here because of the way I've dug, but if you drop a stone onto an enemy, you actually get all 3 of your resources, and we'll get to the 3rd one soon enough. You get all your resources filled up at once, and that is pretty important. And if you can get it, you get it. So I'll be trying to be smart about it, but we'll show off dropping a stone in a second here. Actually, let's do it now. Right, so you saw there, it cracked the packed dirt beneath it, and fell a block, and it takes a second to get going. So it's kind of hard to use it reliably, but it's not difficult to use. Don't want to abandon this. Oh, no room. Well, let's kill this guy. Does it? Yeah, it makes more sense to do this. So while I'm down here, let's just open up all the ores nearby, knowing that I'll have to come back. Alright, so if you want an example of where you could use this, check that out. How good am I at this game? Answer, great. I'm great at this game. Let's just dig all the way over. I can see right there, on the same level with that torch, is another ore, so I don't want to dig that out yet. Now, if you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see that there are those little white pips for each of the ores. That means that anything I dig up at this point is just going to be trash, right? It's going to just say no room on it. So you can carry certain amounts of whatever ore you pick up. And so I filled up on trashium pretty quickly, and I filled up on copper just now. So it's time to get going. And until you've like enumerated each one of the ores in the game with some sort of weird, semi-obsessive guide of some nature, you won't know what you're going to get out of each of these things until you dig them up. There's not really a good way to know. So, who am I helping? You, the saloon owner, and your dad. It's a lot of help. Alright, we've unlocked a pouch and a lamp. We want both, and also the pick. Sorry. Now, by the way, we're about to get into it, but look at Cranky's leg. You can see he's not there. So we just got shiners and tubes mentioned. That won't come up for 3 episodes. Okay. So there's an old country in the Steamworld. Good to know. So you can buy health, and this is the only shop where you can do that at. Not too worried about it at the moment because I have full health. Now, lamps are nice, but honestly not that great. You'd rather go for the ladders if you need to buy a usable item from him at this point. I'm just gonna splurge a little bit, go for this pouch. Now, you might think, well, clearly want the copper axe first, right? It's gonna make everything faster when you dig. I can withstand a little bit of a weight on digging. I cannot countenance leaving stuff down here. By the way, you can't push these. This is what I was trying to show there, but I was talking. So yeah, you can't really withstand leaving stuff behind. So you want the bigger pouch, and as you can see, it just opens up one more spot. But that is a pretty important spot. That means you can carry either a different type of ore. As you can see there, the citrine that I just picked up actually takes up an entire slot. The copper takes up 4, the trashium takes up 4, or will allow you to carry 4. Let's just get a refill on whatever this thing's going to offer me. Light, as it were. And now I can't pick up the trash. Oh no, I can pick up that trashium. I did pick up the trash. You can't abandon ores. You can't throw stuff out. This isn't one of those games. So you have to just kind of deal with it. As a matter of fact, I need to go back up to the surface already. Now, one of the things that's going to become very clear from later in the game is that I use the map to navigate and run around to get back to the surface a lot of the time. Like, I'm not looking at the player character, I'm looking at the map. And so that is... Yep, gotcha. But that might make a bit of a difference when I start taking stupid damage on the way back, once we start encountering more traps and everything like that. Enemies do respawn, or they're persistent. If you don't kill them, they'll stay there. So just be aware of that fact. Let's finally go into this thing that we've been like putting off for an hour. Okay, that's no good. Oh, and gotta jump down there. So you can see these blocks will break on touch, but if you jump fast enough, like I did there, let's see if I can do it again. I don't have a double jump yet. I just touched it so little that the game did not break it on me. So let's try that again. Oh. And right now, I don't think you're supposed to do this way. I think you're supposed to use what you can get in this mine to get over here. Or at least that's the best way. can't break that yet. Okay. Let's pick this up and... So yeah, I can run across these things quickly. But... Why just run when I can profit? Man. And I do like that the game tells you how much you're going to get from anything that you pick up. It's good to know. It's very helpful for forecasting your next set of upgrades. And this is a one-way block. You can only break it from one side. These blocks, by the way, break from any side, as you can see. So you just have to be a little careful on that. Make sure that you don't try to jump off them like I did there. So speed boots means that I can make a hop onto this wall, get over here, and make a hop over here, and pick up our first orbs. Orbs are another form of currency. They're much more rare than the ores are, and so they will actually factor in with a lot of the mid to late game stuff. And there's clearly something up there, right? I mean, there's a door up there. You can see it on the map. Can't get there yet. This is part of that Metroidvania heritage come into play. We won't see that for quite a while, actually. Not a major concern. So what we're going to do is, instead of immediately going up top, saving and quitting, I'm just going to take this thing to its logical conclusion. I'm going to fill up, and then I'm going to go back up top and engage in some wonderful capitalism. This game is just like any other game, really, where you have an upgrade system. You make your money by doing certain things, in this case, mining stuff and then selling it. And then you have to buy your upgrades. Kind of simple in that regard. Now, the important thing is that there are so many ores that you're not going to have to really skip out on any of the upgrades in the game, unless you don't really see a use for them. But the ores are easy enough. The orbs, which I was trying to say there before, but the orbs are really what matters. Orbs are a little bit more special and a little bit less common. Ooh, I can only carry trash, and that is not trash. And I also don't want to leave that. It's terrible. I'm going to actually have to come back down here before I end the recording, because if I end the video before I grab that, then it might disappear. I don't think they will, but I don't like leaving that up to chance, because that is our next level ore. One that we haven't seen before. Yeah, next level, coal lantern. Excellent. Yeah, we want that. That's going to give us more light for longer. Oh, things that weren't cogs in Steam. Watch out. Okay, so we've got almost $80. We have 3 orbs. Could buy our coal lantern here. I'm gonna buy the copper pickaxe. This is gonna make my life that much faster. Let's go grab that ore that I abandoned for a moment. And I actually have to take something back. I actually think it is possible to tell which ores are which based on the pattern they have in terms of coloring and everything. Ugh, come on, dude. Work with me here. Like, these should both be copper, right? Nope. Okay. Completely wrong. It's not like I haven't played a ton of this game. Look at that, another cave. Very close to the cave we just got out of, actually. Interesting. We actually want to go run into that cave real quick. Because it's going to be profitable. And that really is the major point here, isn't it? Can you tell what I just did that was wrong? Now I can't get over to that side because I did a thing that was bad on this side. And that is kind of where the strategy of Steamworld Dig comes in. It's where are you going to dig? And if you dig in the wrong spot, you could cause yourself to go around like this to get something that might not be worth your time or effort. But at least I get to kill a giant mechanical bug thing. So that's, you know, positive. And I get some ore out of it. But that was one of the set piece items that the game has. These little mini puzzles that are not in those puzzle rooms. The area I got the speed boots, for example, is a puzzle room in this game's estimation. And so with those are pretty preset puzzles, and you have to go through them to advance. Picking up ores and other stuff is not necessarily required. But, you know, you're not going to be able to get through certain areas of the game without it. Just hear that rumbling? And right there, that very edge of the light, I could see this. Missed it entirely the first time. Well, to be honest with you, I don't want to go into that cave this episode. Maybe we'll kick off the next episode just outside that cave. How does that sound? Okay, I lied. This is going to be a long episode for what I was trying to do here. Like I said, this is or as you may have seen at the start, this is a 5-hour game if you don't know what you're doing. And for the most part, I do know what I'm doing. So this is not going to take that long playthrough, which is why I'm doing both of these Steamworld for this LP. But there's a lot of this. There's a lot of digging, there's a lot of running back and forth. Most of the gameplay elements that I've talked about so far are basic gameplay elements of the entire game. So I'm not going to really find too much that changes things up. Now, obviously because it's in that Metroidvania spirit, there are things that are very different that will change things, how I move around the world, how I mine, and so on. But for the most part, it's a pretty straightforward game. You mine, you collect stuff, and you go back up top and turn that in for money. Kill this guy before he does anything. And so that is going to be our main focus. I might take some breaks and start talking about other things that are not this game, but might be slightly related. I've already worked out some of the things I want to talk about while we play the game. Rusty. There we go. More ores. Yes. But for now, we're gonna let this go. We're gonna go back up top real quick. At this point, I don't mind making this run, but the game does provide you with a mechanism to make it faster. I tend to deploy it poorly, and we'll talk about it when we get there. I think we're still like 3 level ups away from it being a purchasable option. But it's pretty great. It's a teleporter. Just gonna spoil that one. But you can see now with the speed boots and everything, I'm pretty quick. Gee, thanks. Let's see, we have 125 bucks. Lantern. 50 more pickaxe. Let's just clear out all of our money and assume I don't need any health ever. Ladders would be nice, actually. Ladders would not be unappreciated. But yeah, that's episode 1 of Steamworld Dig. Thanks for watching, everyone. I will see you in the next one. Bye.